But I feel like Woody Johnson's comments put his team in a weird predicament. What did you think about what he had to say?
My first thought was, well, who was the quarterback for the last 15 years that you had that was so great that you had some high level of success? I mean, this version of the Jets is not a version of the team that we've never seen before. They exist in a state of misery.
Okay, Rodney, let's get into the New York Jets and its owner, Woody Johnson. First of all, shout out to them. They got their first win of the season, taking down a Cincinnati Bengals team who I thought was kind of on the up and up. Defensively, they have some struggles, but Woody Johnson earlier this week had some criticism about his starting quarterback in Justin Fields. He said, quote, "It's hard when you have a quarterback with the rating that we've got. If you look at any head coach with a quarterback like that, you're going to see similar results across the league." Despite that, and despite the effect that had on Justin Fields, we'll get into that later on in the show, they were able to still get a win. But I feel like Woody Johnson's comments put his team in a weird predicament. What did you think about what he had to say?
My first thought was, well, who was the quarterback for the last 15 years that you had that was so great that you had some high level of success? I mean, this version of the Jets is not a version of the team that we've never seen before. They exist in a state of misery, right? So don't put all of this on the back and the shoulder and the arm of Justin Fields. You haven't had any success that dictates for you to even be able to say this. You ain't held up the Vince Lombardi trophy, my boy. Like you ain't touched the promised land. You ain't seen the promised land. Last year you had a Hall of Fame first ballot quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, and your team wasn't that good either. So, I took a little bit of umbrage with the fact that he decided to make this statement towards, as Justin Fields is the quarterback of this team. As a young kid, still trying to find his legs in the league, and he doesn't need to hear that. And as an owner, you just be quiet.
Yeah, let's not forget that Woody Johnson put all of his eggs in this Aaron Rodgers basket over the last couple of seasons. He did everything in his power to make the New York Jets the Green Bay Packers. He brought over everybody that Aaron Rodgers wanted, even coaches, and it didn't work. And he ended up firing Robert Saleh. They fired their general manager during the season last year. It's just been a mess, to say the least. And you put this unnecessary stress on your locker room because then you have your starting quarterback telling us after the game that he was crying in his closet on the ground. That is so hard. And then you put stress on your head coach because now your head coach is being asked about that. When he should be focused on getting his first win, he's being asked about comments that you made. Aaron Glenn stood by his young quarterback in Justin Fields. Usually, if an owner makes a statement like that, I'm sure that owner thought, okay, I'm going to make this statement and he's going to bench Justin Fields and he's going to start Tyrod Taylor. Aaron Glenn did not do that. He said, no, I'm going to stand by Justin Fields. And so that's just unnecessary stress that you're putting on your organization when they should be focused on other things. Think about just the locker room itself. Like people probably walking around like, the owner, and I know he gives off an owner that walks around the building, chest poked out. You can't say anything to him. I don't even want to speak to you because you disrespected somebody that the team obviously has so much respect and love for in Justin. But that was just really hard for me to hear that he was so sad about those comments because honestly, Justin Fields has been dealt a bad hand. Getting drafted to the Chicago Bears with the turmoil that they had, thinking that he was going to get a little bit of redemption in Pittsburgh, but then they had Russell Wilson there who ultimately got the start, thinking that he's going to get a fresh start with the Jets, only to have the owner say these things. Like he probably thought, okay, if I get benched now mid-season, this is probably it for me. And one other thing about Aaron Glenn too is I think that just really spoke volume to me how he was able to stand behind Justin Fields. And you saw how much his team loves this coach. Like when they got that win, they weren't celebrating with each other. They were celebrating with him because they know at the end of the day, he has their back, even up against the biggest boss in the owner. That's huge. But it shouldn't have to come down to that. He needs to just take a step back.
I want to shout out Justin Fields, and I know it's a little bit uncommon, but for an athlete, a professional athlete, especially to acknowledge the mental hurdle that he had to overcome this week, being so debilitated that he was laying on the floor of his closet, in tears, to even share that publicly, I thought was was an interesting thing. There's a shift in the culture that's existing for athletes right now. And I think statements like these kind of remind us of just how human they are. And so I just appreciated him for the moment, putting the helmet down and not being in gladiator mode and really letting people into his mindset going into this week's game. I thought that was special. And by all accounts, Justin Fields seems like a pretty good kid. I don't think I've never heard anything bad about him. He doesn't have a spirit that you don't want to see him succeed. And so, I was just really proud of him making that statement. Now, as far as this Jets victory is concerned, obviously they really won this game on the back of Breece Hall, who had a really good game, is on track to have one of the best season of his career. In that last 2 minutes, it wasn't Justin Fields who threw the game-winning touchdown. It was Breece Hall, so that which is a little bit interesting. It's like if your running back is throwing the game-winning touchdown, while we acknowledge Aaron Glenn had a level of faith in Justin Fields, he might have been like, okay, I love you, but
I think that they just tapped into that Ben Johnson. Listen, we got to remember that Aaron Glenn came from Detroit. And Detroit is known for the trickeration. They're known for the crazy plays. And to beat a Cincinnati team in Cincinnati, you kind of got to pull some stuff out your butt. And I think that's what that was. And Cincinnati, they kind of hostile. I was at a game this season. They let them start winning games and they forget who they are.
Yo, did you see their post on social media? Did you see the social media post?
I did.
Can we just really briefly, can we talk about that?
Okay.
Leading up to the game, the Bengals social media team posted an image of Flacco and Jamar Chase in the cockpit of an airplane barreling down on New York City, and anybody with any level of
Was it New York? I think it was it New York? Or was that the Bengals Stadium? I think it was the Bengals Stadium.
It looked like the New York City skyline to me. You can go ahead and pull it up.
I think that's Cincinnati. Because it's not a big city and that's their stadium.
It looked like the skyline was a different city, but you yourself have confirmed that it was the Cincinnati Stadium.
Yes, it is Cincinnati. It
looks
like them doing a flyover of whatever the name. I can't think of what Cincinnati Stadium is named, but either way, it's still a little tasteless. I get what they were trying to do because they're playing the Jets. It's just too soon. I don't know if it'll ever be.
It'll never be soon enough.
Never be.
Yeah. So, but this is what happens when you have children who operate social media accounts, right? Yeah. Their point of reference for what that even could imply or insinuate is just there's no level of connectivity. If anybody who was alive during that time period would automatically know, let me make sure that I don't even put anything that feels like it could be in relation to 9/11. And then lastly, we would be remiss if we did not say rest in peace to Nick Mangold, man. One of the Jets' all-time greats. Was the center for many, many years. A gregarious personality, big guy. He lost his life after a bout with cancer, man. And
people are saying that the Jets got the win for him, excuse me. And I'm sure he was definitely there with them. Speaking of things that are heartbreaking, Cam Scatterboo. Oh my God. I just really hate these types of things. It's just, that was sad because the thing is that running backs already have such a limited time in the NFL. Mm-hmm. I want him to take the time to be 100% before you come back. Don't rush that because you're just going to have ankle issues.
What kind of white boy, what kind of white guy he is. He the white boy who opens a beer by biting into it. He's smashing. He one of them. Those guys, they don't care about all you're talking about. They want to be out there.
You can do that craziness in college, but not in the league. They're going to sit him, and they're going to make sure that he's 100% before he gets back.
Okay.
You all drop down in the comments, and you let us know your thoughts on Woody Johnson, what he had to say about Justin Fields, how Fields and the Jets were able to kind of overcome that, get their first win of the season in Cincinnati. Even let us know your thoughts on Cincinnati's social media team. We want to hear it all from you. Please drop down and below.
Every time you say drop down, I feel like you're going to say and get your eagle on, and then I'll be like, Rodney,
I do like that song though. Shout out to Nelly. I do like that song.
Hey, make sure y'all tap into our newsletter. The link is in the bio, keeping y'all up to date on everything going on in the world of sports. Tap in with us over here at the Fumble, man. We got a good thing going on.